back to UChat. Now let me tell you, if you haven't watched episode 1, then I suggest you pause this video right here and you go back and you watch episode 1 and then come back and watch episode 2. If you haven't watched that one, then you might not get this. So just make sure that you've watched episode 1 and then come back and enjoy episode 2. But if you have watched episode 1, then here we go for episode 2. Now, in the last episode, you guys will remember that we spoke about foul language. So that is what we're going to discuss further in this episode. So before we begin, let's just start with a quick recap from last week's video.
What is swearing? Where is the line?
Where is the line? I feel like as soon as you have to draw a line, that's a problem.
Oh yeah. But then low key, how do you know when you're drawing the line? Like that's why we have a conscience. You'll know. Like your conscience is there to be like, listen, you can't do this. Like, you know what I mean? Like as soon as you think something and it's like, whoa, then you already know, okay, this is wrong. That's a line. As soon as you have to draw a line, it's like, as soon as you have to think twice about something, as soon as you have to like rethink, as soon as someone said it, if someone said it to you, wouldn't be okay. That's a problem. You know what I mean?
I think we should look at like the phrase even as it is. Foul language. It's language that is foul. You know, because we're not asking what is a swear word. That's another conversation. Like, is this a swear word? Is that a swear word? Then we might be like, maybe, no. But as soon as you say foul language, then it's like any language that isn't good, that isn't uplifting, that you wouldn't use comfortably in every setting.
Wait a minute. Any language that isn't uplifting. It is what it is. Guys, I think this literally comes in. I firmly believe then it is what it is foul language.
Yeah, that was interesting. But I really like what they said, because many times when it comes to foul language, as young Christians, we want to know where the line is. Well, in regards to many things in general, but in particular to swearing, we're like, okay, so where is the line? You know, so which words can I say, which words can I not say? But I love how Ora said that if you have to draw a line, then that's the problem. So the problem is that we are always trying to draw the line so we can get as close as possible to the line, or maybe so that we can erase the line and find a way to justify our wrong actions. You know, but then I like what Mpani said, because she blew this thing wide open and she said that foul language is much bigger than swearing. Foul language is any language that is foul. And I mean, that is amazing, because hey, that changes the game. That really changes the game. It changes the way we look at foul language in general. But I love it because that's what Jesus came to do. He came to change the game. Have a look at Matthew 5 verse 17, and it says, "Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them." And what's crazy about that is that when we look at Jesus, many times we think that because of Jesus, because of grace, we can now do whatever we want and God will forgive us. We can live however we want. Grace. And to a certain extent, that is true. But like Jesus said, He didn't come to get rid of the law. He came to fulfill the law. And what that means is He came to show us that you can live by the law. But what I love about Him is He came and He raised the bar. He came and He took whatever people's idea of the law was and He raised the bar. How He did this was, remember how they came and they asked Him like, okay, so the 10 Commandments say thou shalt not kill. But Jesus was like, it's not even about thou shalt not kill. If you even hate a man in your heart, then you've already murdered him. And then we also look at how Paul said, if you even look at a woman with lust, you've already committed adultery with her in your heart. And I love what that does, because that raises the bar. It's no longer about where is the line and how close can I get to it. It becomes a matter of the heart, where it's not even about killing anymore. Now it's even about hate. It's about the heart. It's not even about doing wicked acts with the woman. It's about the heart. So before you even get to the woman and do the wicked acts, look at the condition of your heart. And many times we look at swearing the same way, like where is the line? But like they said, it's not even about swearing anymore. It's about language in general, foul language. Man, that really changes the game. Because if we want to level up, if we want to live according to this raised standard that Jesus has set for us, then we no longer care about where the line is. We now look for where the bar is, where Jesus raised the bar to, and we live according to that. Colossians 4 verse 6 says, Let every word you speak be drenched with grace, tempered with truth and clarity. For then you will be prepared to give a respectful answer to anyone who asks about your faith. And like Paul says there, let your speech be tempered with truth and clarity. That's what foul language is not. So basically, that's how we should be speaking all the time, with truth and clarity. Like, I don't think we quite understand how much this... I don't think we quite understand what this means for us. Because like I said, it's not even about swearing anymore. It's about how we speak in general. It's about how we speak about our parents to our friends, how we speak about our friends to our other friends, how we speak about our teachers to our friends, how we speak about our exes. You know, like what are you saying about your ex, and how are you speaking about your ex? In any conversation you find yourself in any situation you find yourself in, are you a voice of negativity adding to that conversation? Or are you the voice of hope in the situation you're in? Are you the voice of hope in the conversations that you find yourself in? Because I think that's what it means to speak with truth and clarity. That's what it means to let your speech be drenched with grace. That's what it means to speak according to this raised bar that Jesus has now set for us. Like, whoa, man, this is so deep. Because like, I'm not speaking as one who has like gone before, you know. Like, I'm not speaking as one who has mastered this concept of speech and speaking well and whatnot. Because, I mean, this is challenging me too. Like, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, man, how do I speak about my ex? You know? And I mean, I don't think I speak about my exes in a bad way. You know how it is. It is what it is, man. Oh, well, I guess you can't say that because apparently that's foul language too. Okay, I'm not sure how I feel about that one, won't lie. I'm on the fence about that one. I'm still crafting my story about that one. But the fact remains, like, I'm also thinking about my life. Like, how do I speak? How do I speak about certain things? How do I approach certain situations? And I think we aren't trying to be fake, you know? We aren't trying to be like, okay, yes, my ex hurt me, but you know what? He's on his journey of growth, you know? Like, he's doing his thing. Like, you know, in his past relationship, he cheated twice, but with me, he only cheated once, you know? So that's growth, you know? Congrats to him. Nah. Let's be real. If he hurt you, bro, he hurt you, you know? So when relaying that information, that's what matters. Like, are you speaking with truth and clarity? Like, are you restoring dignity? Or are you restoring hope? Or are you trying to break him down? Are you trying to break down his reputation, break down everything that he is? Or are you speaking with truth and clarity? Are you making sure that your language is not foul? And I think a perfect example of this is Jesus himself. Because think about it, when he was at the Last Supper with his disciples, and he's sitting there with 12 disciples, he knew that one of them would betray him. So he has one disciple who's going to betray him and 11 disciples who will do anything for him. He could have said right there and there, Judas is the one who's going to betray me. And his disciples would have dealt with Judas. I mean, you know what Peter did, like he cut off a guy's ear for Jesus, you know. So they would do anything. But Jesus was rather like, nah, you know what? I'm not going to say much. I'm not really going to say anything, like I'm not pointing fingers, but I will say though, one of you guys sitting at this table, one of you will betray me. That's what Jesus did. And they will sit there thinking like, is it me? Is it you? What's happening? And then while they were eating, Judas got up and left. And even then, Jesus could have said, okay, he's gone, guys. I don't want to say before, but it's Judas. Even then, he still maintained integrity. He still kept his speech pure. And he still left it as it was. And I think that's the perfect example of how we should be speaking. We shouldn't try to break people down when they aren't here. We shouldn't try to be breaking people down with the way we speak about them or with the way we speak to them. So I think when looking at this topic of foul language, let's not look at it for justification. Let's take this concept into our lives and see how it applies into your life. See how maybe your language might have been foul in certain areas. And because I mean, that is how we grow. So see how maybe you have been looking for the line so that you can justify your actions, and see how maybe you can raise the bar in your life in that way. Because I mean, that is why we're doing this. We want to be able to grow together. I think too many times as young Christians, we want to look like the world. You know, we want to fit in everywhere, we want to blend in. But that is not what we're trying to do. So because we're Christians, we seek justification for the things that we do. But that's not how we should be approaching everything. that is why we say craft your story, you know. Not craft your story in the way that you and your friends do, you know, like when we're called to the principal's office and we're like, okay guys, this is what we're saying. Like, this is the story, this is what happened, it is what it is, you know. Not that kind of craft your story. What we're doing is we are opening up the topics that we don't normally speak about. Opening up the thoughts that we normally keep at the back of our heads because we think we aren't allowed to think those thoughts. Opening up the questions that we think we aren't allowed to ask. Yeah, so let us know what you think and let's talk about this. Let's have these conversations, let's have these discussions. So if you enjoyed this video, why not share it with a friend and you guys can discuss this topic and see what your thoughts are on this whole thing, so that we can craft our stories together, so that we can grow together. And don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. But before I leave, let me leave you with the same thing I always leave you with. Never settle for anything less than you are worth, because you were destined for greatness. So let's go out and let's be great.